let's move on to strategies to identify CX issues early and often. So there are different categories in which you can look at these strategies. So the first is how to deal with silent customers. So these are customers that you want to keep a close watch on. And they are usually part of the early majority, late majority, and the laggard customers. And you have to keep a close watch on these types of customers who are quiet for a long period of time. You have to during the value delivery phase, you have to make sure that you are keeping in contact with them, often making sure that you understand what issues they are going through, make them talk to you about the value that they are able to generate, because the more they go quiet for a long period of time, it is a red flag, and you have to watch for that. You cannot assume that no news is good news, and you have to keep in constant touch to get in front of the issues. Then the next next strategy would be quarterly business reviews. So you're during the value delivery phase, as a customer experience and a customer facing team member, you should look at scheduling quarterly business reviews with decision makers to share the information on the value that you've been able to generate for them, on different issues that have been identified, if the issues actually have been resolved, and the overall health of the relationship should be shared with these customers almost on a quarterly basis. Ensure that you're probing and asking for feedback, and make sure that you're documenting everything that you're getting back from them during these quarterly business reviews. Follow up very diligently on any action items related to pending issues, and strive to close them out as soon as possible. And also get confirmation from the customer on issue closure and close the loop. So the quarterly business review shouldn't be looked at just as a ceremony or something that you did and you check the box. It's really every quarter you are essentially meeting with the customers to understand the different issues that they are going through, and or different problems, both with product as well as with service delivery. If there are some, you understand that, document that, take down action items, get them resolved, and close the loop. And so that should be your cadence for a QBR or a quarterly business review. Then the next is usage metrics. So this is something that you can work with products and technology to get usage metrics on capabilities that are important for customers, and for capabilities that are built specifically for a certain group of customers. So highlight the high usage to customers to make them aware of the value they are generating, and also gather feedback to understand pain points when usage is low for capabilities that are important or built for them. So it's also, this again, it's important to not just track where the usage is high. It's also important to track where the usage is low, especially if the use case for which the usage is low was built thinking that will add value to a customer or a certain group of customers. If the usage is low, it's important for you to get ahead of it as soon as possible. So usage metrics is very important as a strategy to identify issues early and often. And then the last is conducting surveys. So you have to be very, first of all, to not make the customer fill in too many surveys, but it's also important to gather feedback, periodic feedback, by conducting surveys. So there are various strategies you can use to craft your survey questions to get the most out of the responses. Just ensure that you're not putting in questions that are just yes and no, without you getting more insight from the customer. So the questions can be open-ended, but they cannot be so open-ended that the customers find it hard to fill in the survey. So there's an art and a science to putting together the surveys, but it's important that you gather periodic feedback, and then you pay additional attention to customers who actually do not participate in surveys. So going back to the first strategy about silent customers, this is another indicator for you to know who these silent customers are. If you send out a survey and they're not responding, you want to pay extra attention to that and reach out to those customers and start to understand how they're using your product and if they're getting value out of that. Again, it's not like you're going to get 100% survey response. That has in the industry, that's not the norm. But at the same time, if survey after survey you see certain customers that are important and then that fall in certain categories that that can be more referenceable, you want to pay additional attention to those customers and make sure that you're keeping in constant touch. So those were some strategies to identify the CX issues early and often.